Stop assuming affordable European rifles are just watered-down versions of the real thing. Some of these guns use the same barrel-making methods, locking systems, and trigger designs found on rifles costing twice as much. The difference is not always in accuracy. It is usually hidden in the stock, the finish, and the parts manufacturers chose to simplify. A few of these rifles are honest working tools. One is a precision rimfire machine, and another delivers German engineering at a price that looks almost impossible.
Steel on steel.
We ranked 7 affordable hunting rifles built in Europe and neighboring Turkey. And the #1 rifle proves you do not need a luxury budget to get serious field performance. Starting at number 7, the Istanbul Silah Monza. This Turkish-built bolt gun is here for one simple reason. It gives budget hunters features that normally push a rifle well past $500. You get a cold hammer-forged 20-inch barrel, a factory-installed Picatinny rail, a threaded muzzle, and an adjustable cheek piece. Street price lands right around $498. That is a lot of equipment for the money. Under the hood, the Monza uses a modern push-feed action with a detachable 4-round magazine. The push-feed system strips the cartridge from the magazine and drives it directly into the chamber, keeping the mechanism simple and affordable. Its cold, hammer-forged barrel is the real technical highlight. During forging, the steel is shaped around a rifling mandrel under extreme pressure, creating consistent internal dimensions and a durable bore. That matters when you need the first shot from a cold barrel to land exactly where you aimed. In .308 Winchester, this is a compact, practical woods rifle. Recoil comes back with a firm shoulder shove. Not brutal, but it is definitely more work truck than luxury sedan. The trigger feels built for hunting gloves rather than bench rest metals. It gets the job done, but do not expect the glass rod snap you would find on the German rifles higher on this list. Here is the deal. The Monza's biggest problem is not performance. It is confidence. Aftermarket parts, long-term owner data, and dealer support are thinner than what you get from Mauser, Sauer, Winchester, or CZ. A rifle can have every feature in the catalog, but replacement magazines and service support still matter 10 years from now. Still, for a hunter who wants a short, weather-resistant rifle with a threaded barrel and an adjustable comb, the Monza brings serious value. It earns number 7 because the hardware is impressive, but the platform still has something to prove. Sound off below. Would you trust this rifle deep in the woods, or stick with a better-known European name? Stepping up the game at number 6, the CVA Scout V2. This Spanish-built single-shot proves that a simple rifle does not have to be a crude rifle. Made at the Bergara facility, the Scout usually sets you back somewhere between $340 and $435. Instead of spending money on a complicated bolt, magazine system, and feeding geometry, CVA puts the budget where it matters most: the barrel, the lockup, and the trigger. The break-open mechanism is the key technical feature. Press the release, pivot the barrel downward, load one cartridge directly into the chamber, and close the action against a heavy steel receiver. With fewer moving parts, there is less mechanical slop between the cartridge, chamber, and firing system. The button-rifled stainless barrel is stress-relieved to reduce distortion as it heats, while the clean target crown helps escaping gas leave the muzzle evenly. That combination gives the bullet a more consistent exit and helps the Scout deliver excellent cold-bore accuracy. The trigger usually breaks around 2.5 pounds with very little wasted movement. It snaps more like a glass stir stick than the heavy, dragging triggers found on many entry-level rifles. In 350 Legend or 450 Bushmaster, recoil lands like a short sledgehammer strike, but the crush zone recoil pad keeps it controlled. The straight wall chamberings make this rifle especially useful in regions where traditional bottleneck hunting cartridges face restrictions. Now for the deal breaker. The ergonomics of a single-shot action are not for everybody. A quick follow-up requires lowering the rifle, opening the action, removing the empty case, and loading another cartridge by hand. The manual safety also feels thin compared with the heavy receiver around it. That does not hurt accuracy, but it keeps the Scout from ranking higher. For a patient hunter who values one carefully placed shot, the CVA Scout offers Bergara barrel quality at working man money. It is compact, weather-resistant, and brutally simple, but simplicity demands discipline. At number 5, the CZ457, synthetic. This Czech-built rimfire is the precision specialist of the list. Street price usually lands between $365 and $450, depending on the exact configuration. It feeds on .22 long rifle and is designed for small game hunting, pest control, and serious marksmanship practice. While the centerfire rifles on this list bring more power, the CZ457 delivers a level of mechanical refinement that cheap rimfires rarely touch. Looking at the action, the 60-degree bolt lift keeps the handle away from the scope and makes follow-up shots fast without feeling rushed. The cold, hammer-forged barrel gives the bore consistent dimensions from chamber to crown, helping stabilize the bullet without the rough internal marks found in bargain barrels. More importantly, the barrel is secured by 2 angled screws, allowing the shooter to swap between .22 long rifle, 17 HMR, and .22 Winchester Magnum rimfire using factory conversion kits. The adjustable single-stage trigger is another major advantage. Pull weight and sear engagement can be tuned to remove unnecessary movement before the shot. Properly adjusted, the break snaps like a thin sheet of ice under a boot. Recoil is almost non-existent, just a soft pulse that lets the shooter stay inside the scope and watch the impact. Accuracy is where this rifle earns its ranking. The match-style chamber holds the cartridge in tighter alignment with the rifling, reducing bullet deformation during feeding. With quality ammunition, this thing can stack shots into tiny clusters at 50 yards. It is not just a beginner's rifle. It is a legitimate precision platform that can stay useful for decades. The deal breaker is the exterior finish. The soft-touch coating on some synthetic stocks can wear, become shiny, or develop a tired-looking surface after years of heavy field use. Mechanically, the rifle remains solid, but the furniture may start looking older than the action underneath it. The CZ457 is accurate, modular, and remarkably refined. But wait until number 1. That German-built rifle brings centerfire power, a premium barrel, and a trigger that makes its price tag look like a mistake. Now we get serious at number 4. The Winchester X P R. Do not let the American name fool you. This rifle is built at Browning's Viana factory in Portugal, and its street price usually falls between $420 and $488. Winchester designed it as a stripped-down hunting tool rather than a cheaper Model 70. Different action, different feeding system, different personality, but the same focus on putting the first shot exactly where it belongs. Under the hood, the XPR runs a 3-lug push-feed bolt with a short 60-degree lift. That reduced bolt throw matters when a large scope sits low over the receiver, because your knuckles have more clearance and the action cycles faster. The bolt body also wears a nickel Teflon coating that reduces friction and adds corrosion resistance. In wet brush, freezing temperatures, or a dusty truck rack, that slick surface helps the action keep moving without demanding constant attention. The MOA trigger uses mechanical leverage to reduce the effort needed to release the sear. From the factory, it breaks at roughly 3.5 pounds with minimal creep and almost no unnecessary overtravel. The break feels like snapping a clean plastic tab, controlled, predictable, and much better than the heavy triggers found on older budget rifles. Its button-rifled chromoly barrel is stress-relieved and finished with a target-style crown, helping the bullet leave the muzzle without uneven gas pressure disturbing its flight. Feeds on everything from .308 Winchester to .30-06 Springfield, depending on the model. Recoil feels like a quick shove from a heavy door, while the Inflex recoil pad redirects part of that force downward and away from the shooter's face. The bolt unlock button is another smart field feature, allowing you to clear the chamber while the safety remains engaged. Here is the performance quirk. The lightweight barrel is built for hunting, not long strings at the range. Once it gets hot, groups can begin opening as thermal drift changes the point of impact. Give it time to cool and it settles back down, but shooters who treat it like a bench rifle may walk away disappointed. For cold-bore hunting accuracy, though, the XPR is a serious bargain. It is smooth, safe, weather-resistant, and usually capable of sub-1-minute groups with ammunition it likes. Number 4 belongs to the Winchester because it does the important jobs extremely well, but the top 3 bring more refinement to the table. Entering the elite tier at number 3, the CZ600 Alpha. This Czech-built rifle is one of the most mechanically ambitious budget guns on the list. Depending on dealer discounts and rebate programs, street price can land anywhere from the high 300s to just under $500. That is impressive when you consider the Alpha gives you an aluminum receiver, integrated Picatinny rails, a cold hammer-forged barrel, an adjustable trigger, and a feeding system that blends push-feed speed with controlled feed security. The bolt uses 6 locking lugs arranged in 2 rows, creating a short 60-degree lift. Instead of locking into the lightweight aluminum receiver, those lugs engage a steel barrel extension. That detail matters because high-pressure cartridges stay contained inside a steel-to-steel lockup, while the receiver can remain lighter and cheaper to manufacture. The result is a rifle that feels front-balanced without feeling clumsy. Its hybrid controlled feed system is the real mechanic's insight. As the bolt strips a cartridge from the detachable magazine, the case rim slides under the extractor before the round fully enters the chamber. That keeps the cartridge under control during the feeding cycle and reduces the risk of a double feed. Pull the bolt back slowly and the case can drop close to the rifle. Run it hard and the ejector throws brass several feet away. The trigger deserves serious respect. A small adjustment screw allows the shooter to select one of 4 defined pull weight settings without removing the action from the stock. At the lightest setting, the break feels like cracking a frozen leaf between 2 fingers. In .308 Winchester, recoil comes back as a firm rolling punch, but the reinforced polymer stock and forward balance keep the muzzle from jumping wildly. Accuracy is not an empty marketing claim here. The semi-heavy cold hammer-forged barrel resists heat better than the thinner tube on the XPR, and the black nitride finish adds corrosion resistance for wet weather hunting. With quality factory ammunition, the Alpha is built to hold tight 3-shot groups around 1 minute of angle or better. Now for the deal breaker. Customization is limited. After the 2022 safety recall, the barrel assembly was secured in a way that removed the original user-changeable caliber concept. Proprietary magazines and limited aftermarket stock options also mean you are buying into a mostly closed system. It performs extremely well out of the box, but it is not the ideal foundation for a long-term custom build. The CZ600 Alpha takes number 3 because it combines speed, safety, accuracy, and modern engineering better than most rifles at this price. Still, the final 2 bring an extra level of German refinement that the Alpha cannot quite match. Closer to the crown at number 2, the Mauser M18. Built in Izny, Germany, the M18 is Mauser's working-class hunting rifle. Forget engraved steel, glossy walnut, and old-world decoration. This thing was designed to get dragged through wet brush, leaned against a truck, and carried through bad weather without making the owner nervous. When discounted models drop below $500, the M18 delivers real German manufacturing at a price normally associated with basic American entry-level rifles. The action uses a 3-lug push-feed bolt with a short 60-degree lift. Those 3 lugs spread locking pressure evenly, while keeping the bolt throw low enough to clear a large scope. Feeding comes from a flush-fitting, double-stack polymer magazine that usually holds 5 cartridges. Run the bolt with authority, and the action feeds cleanly, although a brand new rifle may feel slightly rough until the locking surfaces wear together. Its cold hammer-forged barrel is the technical heart of the rifle. Massive hammers shape the steel around an internal mandrel, forming the chamber and rifling under tremendous pressure. That process produces consistent internal dimensions and a tough bore that can handle years of hunting use. The barrel is also free-floating, so pressure from the stock does not push against it as weather and temperature change. That helps the point of impact remain stable from one season to the next. The direct-action trigger breaks cleanly with little creep. It feels like a thin ceramic tile giving way under steady pressure. Crisp, sudden, and easy to predict. Depending on the cartridge, recoil ranges from a firm push to a sharp heel kick, but the thick recoil pad keeps the rifle manageable. The 3-position safety lets you lock the action completely or unload the chamber while the trigger remains blocked. Practical details make the M18 stand out. Soft-touch grip panels give your hands something to hold when rain turns everything slick. Pressing 2 buttons releases the recoil pad and opens a small storage compartment inside the stock. It is useful for a pull-through bore cleaner, a small cloth, or other compact field gear. Now for the deal breaker. The rifle looks and feels aggressively utilitarian. The molded stock lacks the rigid, premium character of the Sauer's ERGO-MAX design, and the polymer magazine does not inspire the same confidence as steel. Some hunters will also find the hollow furniture less refined than the German name suggests. Even with those compromises, the Mauser M18 is accurate, lightweight, weather-resistant, and brutally dependable. It gives you much of the barrel quality and mechanical reliability of the rifle at number 1, but its stock geometry and overall refinement leave it one step away from the throne. Taking the crown at number 1, the Sauer 100 Classic XT. This German-built rifle is the reason the entire list exists. Normal retail pricing sits well above our limit, but distributor clearances and aggressive dealer discounts can push the Classic XT down between $429 and $499. At that price, you are not getting a disposable beginner rifle. You are getting a serious hunting platform built in Izny, Germany, with a premium barrel, smart stock geometry, and a trigger that feels completely out of place in the budget category. The action runs a 3-lug push-feed bolt with a short 60-degree lift. A Sacco-style extractor grips the case, while 2 spring-loaded ejectors launch spent brass clear of the receiver. That dual ejector setup matters because it delivers more consistent ejection than the simpler systems found on many cheap bolt guns. Run the action hard, and empty cases leave with authority instead of bouncing around inside the port. Its cold, hammer-forged barrel is thermally press-fitted into the receiver. Instead of relying on traditional threads, Sauer uses controlled temperature and interference between the 2 parts to create a rigid, concentric connection. You cannot easily replace that barrel later, but the factory alignment is extremely consistent. Combined with a free-floating barrel and Sauer's aluminum bedding block, the system keeps pressure away from the barrel and anchors the receiver firmly inside the stock. The ERGO-MAX stock is where the Sauer separates itself from the Mauser M18. Its rear-sloping comb directs recoil straight back into the shoulder instead of driving the stock upward into your cheek. The kick feels like a heavy hand pushing through your shoulder rather than a fist snapping into your jaw. Compared with the hollow utility stock on the Winchester X P R, the Sauer feels more controlled, more balanced, and far more refined from the moment you mount it. Then there is the trigger. This adjustable single-stage unit can be set from roughly 2.2 to 4.2 pounds. The brake feels like a polished icicle snapping in clean winter air. No mush, no dragging wall, and no ugly overtravel. It puts the trigger on the CZ600 Alpha under real pressure while still feeling more natural than the Alpha's unusual safety arrangement. Here is why the Sauer takes the throne. It gives you the rugged German barrel quality of the Mauser M18, but with better stock geometry and a more polished shooting experience. It matches the modern accuracy potential of the CZ600 Alpha, yet its controls feel more conventional and easier to trust under stress. It even delivers the cold-bore dependability of the Winchester X P R without surrendering the same level of refinement. The Sauer 100 Classic XT is not number one because it has the longest feature list. It wins because every important part works together. The barrel, the bedding, the trigger, the stock, and the safety. Under $500, that combination is almost impossible to beat. 7 rifles, 7 different ways to deliver European accuracy without draining your bank account. The CZ457 dominates the rimfire category. The CVA Scout proves a single shot can outshoot more complicated rifles. Winchester brings cold-bore reliability, while the CZ600 Alpha delivers some of the smartest modern engineering in the group. Then you reach the Germans. The Mauser M18 is rugged, simple, and built for hunters who care more about results than decoration. But the Sauer 100 Classic XT takes everything that matters: barrel quality, bedding, trigger control, recoil management, and field safety, and combines it into the most complete package on this list. Just remember, a low price does not automatically mean a good deal. Check magazine availability, warranty support, ammunition compatibility, and the actual street price before you buy. Some of these rifles only fall below $500 during rebates or clearance sales. No rifle replaces training, proper ammunition selection, or responsible shot placement. Know your local hunting laws, confirm your zero, and never take a shot you cannot make cleanly. If you want the raw truth without the fluff, lock it in right here.